Okay, so now question number 21. Group 1 metals, lithium, sodium and potassium, show the trends in their melting points and their reaction with the water. Okay, so let's see the trend first so that we can get an idea. Okay, basically this is the group 1. What happens that in group 1 melting point decreases down the group and reactivity increases down the group. Okay, so sodium is here, potassium is here and lithium is here. So melting point decreases and reactivity increases down the group. All right. So look at the statements. Their melting point decreases, yes, and reaction with water become less vigorous. No, if I say that reactivity increases down the group, then the reaction with water become more vigorous instead. So this statement is wrong. Their melting point decreases, yes, and their reaction with water become more vigorous, yes, because reactivity increases down the group. Reactivity increases down the group and melting point decreases down the group. C and D are wrong because they say that melting point increases down the group. That's why the correct option is option B. Okay, question number 22. Chlorine gas is bubbled into separate samples of the aqueous potassium iodide and aqueous potassium bromide. In which solution is there a color change? What happens that in halogens, basically reactivity decreases down the group. So first is the fluorine, then chlorine, then bromine and then iodine, and this is most reactive, this is least reactive. Okay, reactivity decreases down the group. That's why chlorine is more reactive than both bromine and iodine. Now let's write down the equation. We are gonna bubble chlorine into Ki and also into KBr. So what happens? 2KCl will be formed and iodine will be replaced. And here again 2KCl will be formed and bromine would be replaced. So in both of these equations there would be a color change because here iodine will be formed and here bromine, that is a reddish brown color gas, it will be formed. So both will accompany by the change in the color. That's why A is supposed to be the correct option. Question number 23. Which statement about the element in the group 7 of the periodic table is correct? Group 7. We just have discussed that going down the group their reactivity decreases. Okay, so going down the group the number of the electron in the atom increases by 8 for each noble gas. By 8 for each noble gas. It's not the case. Obviously electron increases but not by 8. Now you can see here is 9 electron, then 17, then 35, then 53. They are not being increased as 8 of the noble gas. So this statement is incorrect. Going down the group the number of the electron in the outer shell increases by 8. Not. Again, this is not the correct option. In the outer shell, the electron remains the same as the group number. So all of them have the 7 electrons. The number of electrons in the outer shell is the same for each noble gas. No, each noble gas has 8 electrons in the last shell, and halogens, they have 7 electrons in the last shell. So this statement is incorrect as well. The outer shell of each noble gas is fully occupied by electron. Yes, this is exactly this correct statement, because helium has 2 electron and rest of all noble gases have 8 electron in the valence shell. So all of them have fully occupied by electron. This statement is correct. Question number 24. Which statement is correct? Aluminium is used in the food container because of its resistance to corrosion. Yes, this statement is absolutely correct. So no need to look at the other statement. This is exactly the same statement, the correct one. So 24 is the correct option. 25. Which element are the major constituent of the brass? Okay, this is basically a concept. Basically, brass is an alloy of copper and zinc. So that's how the correct statement is C. Okay, 26. The diagram shows two methods in which metal X is used to prevent the rusting of the iron. Okay, metal X is being used for to prevent the rusting of the iron. A student suggested that metal X must be less reactive. This is incorrect. If we want to protect a metal, then we should use a metal which is more reactive. So we need to use a metal which is more reactive and have a lower proton number. Okay. If something has low proton number, it's mean it is less reactive, especially in the case of metals. So both these statements are wrong. That's why D is the correct option. Question number 27. Aluminium is extracted from the molten aluminium oxide by electrolysis. Which material is used for the electrodes in the industrial extraction? Again, this is the fact. We use graphite. Electrode use is the graphite electrodes. That's why B is the B is the correct option, carbon, because graphite is an allotrope of the carbon. 28. Which substance is used to remove odor in the treatment of the domestic water supply? Again, this is a concept. We use carbon, charcoal for this purpose. So A is the correct option. 29. Carbon dioxide, methane and oxygen gas are the gases which are involved in the carbon cycle. Which of these gases cause the global warming? Of course, oxygen is the gas that we need for the respiration, and it's a good gas. It should be there in our atmosphere. So the option should be the one which should not include oxygen. So that's how the correct statement is the statement B. Okay. How many structural isomers are there in the molecular formula C4H9Cl? Structural isomers. Okay, so we have to draw them, of course. So let's draw them. For question number 30, we have to draw the structural isomer of C4H9Cl. So I'm going to draw it here. First of all, number 1, CH3, CH2, 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 Cl. So all of them has been arranged in a straight chain. Then another one is CH3, CH3. One of them is being arranged in chain. So like this. Third one. Now we are going to change the position of halogen and keeping everything same. And the fourth one is arranging them in such a way. So there are maximum 4 isomers which are possible. That's why the correct statement is option C. Okay, question number 31. P is a branched hydrocarbon with a ratio of carbon atom to hydrogen atom being 1:2. Okay, so carbon to hydrogen ratio is 1:2 and it has the relative molecular mass of 56. So from this information we need to derive the formula of the P. How can we do that? So we need carbon to hydrogen ratio is 1:2. So that's why I have written CH2. And what is the exact number? I don't know. So the total molecular mass is 56. Now we know that carbon is 12. Carbon is 12 and hydrogen is 1. So there are 2 hydrogens, so they will be 2. So 12 plus 2, they make 14. 14n is equal to 56. We need to find out the n in order to find out the total number of carbon and total number of hydrogen. So 56 divided by 14, it will be 4. So n is equal to 4. Now put n is equal to 4. It makes carbon is 4 and hydrogen is 8. Alright. So it is an alkene basically. If it is an alkene, so it must have the double bond in between. That's why C couldn't be our option. Now look at D. We need 4 carbon and it has 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 carbon. So again D is not our option. Now look at B. It has 1, 2, 3, 4 carbon. Okay, carbon number are satisfied with the number that we want. Look at the hydrogen number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Okay. And I think this is the correct option, but look at A ones. 1, 2, 3, 4 carbon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 hydrogen. No, we need 8 hydrogen. That's why A is not the correct option. The option is B. Correct option is B here. I hope it makes sense to you. 32. Which row gives the correct names of the two compounds? Okay, so before looking at the option, let's find out our own names so that we can get an idea. Okay, so CH3, CH2, CH double bond, CH2. Now it has 1, 2, 3, 4 carbon. So it is for sure it is bute, and it has a double bond at position 1. So the name should be bute 1ene. The word bute shows it has 4 carbon, and 1ene shows it has double bond at carbon 1. So of course C and D are not our options. We have to select from A or B. Now look at the other one. CH3, CH and OH would be here. CH3. Okay, now it has 1, 2, 3 carbons. Of course it is a prop, and 1, 2, the second carbon has an OH group attached with it. So it would be propane 2-ol, not 1-ol, because the carbon number to which hydroxyl group is being attached is the second carbon. That's how A is incorrect, and our correct option is option B. Next question. Which equation represent the reaction of the ethane with chlorine in the presence of the ultraviolet light? Okay, so let's make our own reaction in order to get a better idea. Ethane is CH3 plus chlorine. Okay, let me write the structure formula so that for the better understanding. It is basically like this. And chlorine is being attached like this. They are reacting with each other, and what happens, then one hydrogen is being replaced from one chlorine. So HCl is formed, and these 3 hydrogen are at their place. These 2 hydrogen again are at their place, and this chlorine attaches here instead of this hydrogen. So like this. If I write it, so it would be CH3 CH2 Cl. So you can see that which one is the correct product. Of course this is not the correct one. Of course this is not the correct one, and same as for this one. So this is the correct product. That's how B is the correct option. Question number 34. Which compound reacts with hydrogen in an addition reaction? Okay, addition reaction is basically the property of the alkenes. Alkenes undergoes addition reaction. All right. So basically we need to find out an alkene here. If I write CH3 CH CH CH3, then I have to put a double bond in order to satisfy the valency of the carbon. So of course option A is the correct one, but look at the option B as well. It is CH3, CH2, CH2, CH3. All the valencies of the carbon are being satisfied, and it is an alkane. So this is the wrong wrong option. This is a carboxylic acid. Again, this is the wrong one. And this is an alcohol. This is again the wrong one. The correct statement is option A. It is a correct one. Okay. Now move towards the next question. Question number 35. Which statement about carboxylic acid are correct? They are prepared by the oxidation of alkanes. No, this is the wrong statement. They are formed by the oxidation of alcohols instead. So A is not the correct option. They decolorizes bromine water. Not at all. Alkenes does. They react with alcohol to form esters. Yes, this is the correct statement. But look at the D ones. They react with carbonate to form salt, hydrogen and water. They react with carbonate, yes, and they form salt, yes, water, yes, but not hydrogen. They form carbon dioxide instead. So this is incorrect. That's how the correct statement is option C. Okay, 36. The structure of X and Y are being shown. What is the structure of the polymer formed when X and Y react together? Okay, it's very easy. Basically, what we have to do, we just have to remove OH and one H from here, and again one H from here and OH from here. All right. So let's make our own polymer. I'm gonna make my own polymer so that I could get a better idea about the options. So what happens? Let me write HO, C double bond O, CH2, 4, C double bond O, OH, add NH2 like this, CH2 keep the 6, and N, H and H. Okay, so what happens? This will be removed from here, and similarly this OH from here and this H from here. Now what is being formed? C double bond O, continuous bond, CH2, 4, C double bond O, N, H, and CH2, 6, N and H here, and this. So let's match with the options. Of course, option D is the incorrect one, because here are 6 and we need 4. C is also incorrect, and in option B, that's also incorrect because there is NH and we need C double bond O instead. So the correct option is supposed to be option A. Question number 37, it's a very easy question and it's fact based. Which diagram shows a measuring cylinder? So of course it is the option C. There's a table in experimental technique chapter. You can memorize all the instrument over there. Okay, question number 38. A chromatogram of the mixture X and pure substance P, Q, R and S is shown. Which statement is correct? Okay, so before doing this question, let me write the formula of RF, retention factor. RF value is basically distance traveled by solute divided by distance traveled by solvent front. Okay. So a solvent front is this, starting from the baseline till this line. This is solvent front. P has traveled this much, Q has traveled the maximum, and R has traveled this much, S has traveled this much. So the correct option would be the option Q, because it has traveled much further away. So greater the distance traveled by the solute, obviously the greater would be the RF value. That's why the correct option is option B here. Okay, 39. Sulfur dioxide gas is prepared by heating sodium sulfide with the hydrochloric acid. Okay, it is an acidic gas and it is more dense than air. This is an important information that is being provided by the examiner. If it is more denser by the air, then we should collect it by downward delivery method. Downward delivery method, number 1, and number 2, upward displacement. And it must be soluble in water. All right, so that's why option D is the incorrect one, because this is not the downward delivery method. Okay, again we have to choose between A, B and C. A has calcium oxide over here. We don't need calcium oxide because this is an acidic gas, it will react with it. So now we need to choose between A and B. B is incorrect because B is using the filter funnel. We don't need filter funnel. Instead, we need Thistell funnel here. So, the correct option is option A. Okay. A colorless solution of compound W is tested completely with a few drops of aqueous sodium hydroxide and a few drops of aqueous ammonia. No precipitate is observed. What is the cation W? Of course, it is not C, because it will form the blue precipitate. It will form the blue solution, and according to question we have to choose the colorless solution. Again, the options are not A and B because they will form the precipitate, and we should select the ones with no precipitate. So our correct option is option D, because whenever an ammonium compound react with the sodium hydroxide and alkali, it produces ammonia gas. Thank you so much. Allah Hafiz.